And we are back for an all-new episode of Keep It. I'm Ira Madison III, published author.
And I'm Louis Vertel, a lowly Anunnaki, out here making television and not literature, like Ira.
My book came out today. I'm excited.
What a crazy feeling. Oh my God, it's been so long coming. I mean, this was announced, this is how books work. This was announced very long ago, and now it's coming out. When did you get around to the first draft, like a couple weeks ago?
Yeah. Was a really quick rush process, and then they were like, well, we got a week to edit this. Let's make it work.
Yeah, right. It's like Parade magazine. They just like, okay, we'll stamp it together, go. Yeah.
Not Parade catching a stray.
I would read Marilyn Vosifant in Parade every week. Her little IQ brain teasers.
But speaking of the book, I was just in Milwaukee last night, my hometown, where much of the book is set, and I loved being there and like talking about the book and then meeting people who came to see it, who are obviously Keep It listeners. And we were talking about this with Graham Norton, right? The idea that people haven't really read the book yet, so they're just asking you general questions. And mostly the questions are just questions you'd get from people who listen to Keep It. They were just asking me my opinions on pop culture. And of course, someone said, what are your thoughts on Karla Sofía Gascón? And I said, you're going to have to wait till this week's episode, baby.
And you tipped your hat? Yes. Good day, madam, you said, flying off in your copter.
And so here we are.
Here's the thing. I am so grateful for the magnificent Grammys we had. Otherwise, this would be the most enervating topic of all time. I mean, I am here to talk about the Oscars just in general. It doesn't have to be February. It could be middle of August, whatever. It could be 3 a.m. at a club. I'm ready to talk about the Oscars. Karla Sofía Gascón is a new frontier. I truly am struggling to even begin to discuss this insane issue. Ira and I both remember very vividly a few years ago the Oscars So White phenomenon, which several actors responded poorly to. I kind of thought that would be as bad as this kind of conversation would get. And now we're in the thick of this controversy where the Best Actress nominee from Emilia Perez, a movie that is universally adored. I don't know if I'm kidding. If you've ever been on the internet, you know that's not the case. Somebody uncovered a number of old tweets from this person. And I'll say this about cancelable tweets. Usually you can hear that they were trying to write a joke or be funny. Not one motherfucking time. This is simply racism. That is it.
She was a keyboard warrior.
Yes.
Okay?
She stayed at the desktop.
She was the fact that, her tweets were unearthed. And at first, when I heard someone said, Karla Sofía Gascón's tweets were unearthed, they're racist, I was kind of like, are we still doing this shit? Like she should have scrubbed her account, sure, but they can't be that bad. It's probably something stupid that we're, taking to an extreme. And then I saw she was up in the Oscar So White hashtag. She was live tweeting the show. She had opinions on not just that, but also her co-star who is in Emilia Perez with her, which is the funniest tweet to me, wading into Selena Gomez's alleged feud with Hailey Bieber over Selena Gomez's former relationship with Justin Bieber. She tweets that Selena Gomez is a rich rat.
Okay, let me just say this about the phrase rich rat. You shouldn't be calling people that. But picture a rich rat. It's kind of cute. It's like the wind in the willows, bitch. He's got a little cane. He's by the water. She also denies that she tweeted that, by the way. She says that she would never say that about Selena Gomez. However, she did say a lot of other things about literally every other human being. So, not really much of an apology. I guess we have to read some of them. Should we read 3 of them? I don't know. It goes on and on and on. I'm so sorry that we're going to be reciting these.
New attack in France. Beheadings in Nice by one of these retarded followers of Allah. How many times will we have to expel these madmen from Europe until we realize that their religion is incompatible with Western values? We do not learn. Thank you, Erdogan.
Unbelievable. That's, by the way, one tweet.
I have never seen tweets this racist from someone who is running for an Oscar.
No, I mean, like, it's one of those things. People are like, oh, should she have her Oscar nomination taken away? And my response to that is, I don't really think it's up to the Academy to be like this person's parent. Like, it's like them awarding somebody for a performance to me has nothing to do with this other thing. Like, guys like Mel Gibson still has an Oscar. Kevin Spacey still has his 2 Oscars. Roman Polanski is still an Oscar winner and nominee, etc. So we would have to start there if we were taking away Oscars, in my opinion. But
also, we're still in the midst of voting for the Oscars, so you could also just not vote for her.
That's true. And I'm just going to kindly suggest that she wasn't going to win anyway. And it's like, there's only 5 slots in the Best Actress category, and I have to think, sorry, it's getting really warm in here. If I had to pick another person we could have voted for instead, none are really coming to mind. Like a complicated kind of gritty
reveal. Louis with a reveal.
Can you believe I did that? People can't see this at home. It's a podcast. But I just pulled off my jacket, and underneath, somebody sent me a lovely shirt with Mary and Jean Baptiste's name in all block letters, which thank God they sent this. I guess it was from God. I don't know who sent it, but
mine is across the room.
So good. It would have been weird if we both wore it, but
her next tweet: Islam is becoming a hotbed of infection for humanity that urgently needs to be cured. I'm sorry, the bitch is just racist.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. It's just blatantly racist. Like, if you had to come up with like a dictionary definition, this would be it.
There's no joke here. There's no, ain't no metaphor punchline. She's really sitting in racism.
Yeah, right. Should we get into George Floyd for a second? I really think that few people ever cared about George Floyd, a drug addict, swindler. Come on. But his death has served to once again demonstrate that there are people who still consider black people to be monkeys. The writing. Without rights and consider policemen to be assassins, they're all wrong. Now, this is interesting to me, too. She was tweeting during the 2021 Oscars. That's the Nomadland one. And she said, more and more the Oscars are looking like a ceremony for independent and protest films. I don't know if I was watching an Afro-Korean festival, a Black Lives Matter demonstration, or the 8M. Now, let me say this. Dropping Black Lives Matter in this context is already insane. When she says Afro-Korean festival, that was interesting to me because I was like, what are you talking about? I am pretty sure
they do love fried chicken.
I'm pretty sure what she means is Daniel Kaluuya won an Oscar for Judas and the Black Messiah, and Yoon Ye-jung won an Oscar for Minari. So what she's actually just saying is she's turning the fact that 2 non-white actors won Oscars into a reason to complain.
Listen, I just think that she is really into Korean fried chicken. Okay?
You think she's a Koreatown stan?
Yeah. I mean, listen, I love staying at the Line Hotel. I was there this week.
Mm-hmm. Right. So you guys are colleagues, as I've long claimed. Yes.
She asked me to come over for some food, and I said, Karla, you're a little too racist for me.
I must also add about her, unfortunately right now, her name is an amazing punchline. Like, I was, somebody invited me to their pregame for Drag Race over the weekend. I was like, can I bring a friend? It's Karla Sofía Gascón. Can I bring a friend? It's like you get instantly jolted with electricity.
I would love if someone hosting the Oscars did a song that was the Gaston song from Beauty and the Beast, but about Karla Sofía Gascón.
Oh my God, why can't we get you in the writer's room? Conan, we're right here.
No one tweets like Gascon.
Oh God. Well, it remains to be seen how visible Karla will be in the upcoming awards. I guess she's doing none of the Producers Guild Awards are this week. She won't be there. They just announced.
They've removed her from everything, honey.
Yeah.
The last thing that these producers want is her to be in the face of reporters.
Yeah, right. Apparently, also, I had heard that were considering doing the Fab Five thing again at the Oscars, where they have 5 winners or old nominees present to the 5 new nominees. And I feel like you cannot do that now. Like, who is going to present to Karla Sofía Gascón? Actually, there's one answer. It could be Marion Cotillard. French actress. And, something about her is kind of like, what did she say? I've never heard of Twitter. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I want to know if she's going to be booed.
Right. I can't remember anybody being booed at the Oscars. I remember when Elia Kazan won that award, Ed Harris and Amy Madigan didn't stand. But I don't remember any booing, really. Well,
they booed my good sis Littlefeather.
Oh, that's true. Yes, Sasheen, who it turned out the only little feather she bought was at Bed Bath & Beyond because she wasn't really a Native American or something we found out when she died.
Yeah. Well, Marlon Brando was always up to something.
Yeah, right. Bisexual sex is the answer to that. Yes. Yeah, this is just an unbelievable situation. I feel bad for the other actors in this movie. I feel, that they are obligated to say something when clearly a lot of these tweets happen when they didn't even know this person. You would think they would.
Well, to be fair, I already felt bad for all of the actors in the movie.
You were advanced in that way. Yeah.
I saw the movie.
Yeah. I will say this about Emilia Perez. I thought it was an entertaining enough movie. I don't know that I needed to see it in the Oscars conversation. If all it got were the Zoe nomination, I'd have been fine with it. That said, when you say you kind of enjoyed anything about this movie, people pretend like you put a cat in the microwave. I mean, like it's a movie. Yeah.
People act like you're Karla Sofía Gascón tweeting.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
She is a great punchline.
Yeah. No, it's just the right amount of syllables. You know what I'm saying?
Wow. Anyway, she has said in an interview that she will not withdraw from the race.
Nor do I think she should, really. I just don't think I don't think this conversation, the Oscars conversation, is like dovetailing with this conversation about, oh, you said these unbelievably horrible things, and now you probably just won't get cast in anything. Like, I think that's the punishment. But, been wrong before. And, those movies with, like, Candace Cameron Bure probably need an antagonist, and she'll probably get a call.
Now, the tweets were originally posted. Shout out to Sarah Hagi, who I love. She screenshotted them and put them on Twitter. And Karla Sofía Gascón has said that she doesn't recognize many of these tweets and that she has been judged, condemned, sacrificed, crucified, and stoned without a trial and without the option to defend myself. Okay, Vicky Gunvalson.
Also, all you're doing is defending yourself. Second of
all she's doing.
Yeah.
She drops a new interview every day.
Right. Also, it's like reposting tweets you posted. How is that stoning you or whatever you just said? It's literally just the words out of your mouth. There's no additional commentary needed. No, I'm shocked at the defensiveness of her tone. I would just be immediately humbled and apologetic if something like that befell me. But she constantly is treating the situation like, if I yell hard enough back at it, it'll go away. I don't understand what she's doing. She just did an unauthorized CNN interview that had nothing to do with the Emilia Perez campaign. Like, she arranged it herself, and then that was another snafu of hers. So I don't really know what she thinks her end game here is, but everything out of her mouth is just kind of making things worse.
Would you say that she's going rogue?
Like, sorry, is that Sarah Palin?
It's Sarah Palin.
Okay, yes. I remember, speaking of literature.
She's going Picaro.
Oh my God, when you called her a puta last week. I mean, Emilia Perez, not her.
Well.
Right, no. Also,
I'm sure someone has this week.
It's awkward to comment on this also because we're not at the end of it. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen with her on this campaign. Again,
we've got a month.
She was not in danger of winning this Oscar. I mean, I'll say that. Yes, you're right. The Oscars are still a month away. So maybe, and I'm curious, like, does Conan O'Brien address it at all? It's so strange. It's such a strange movie.
Yeah. Honestly, though, this is Trump's America. And 2025 has been crazy. What if she won?
Oh, God. I mean, like that. I mean, if that happened.
What if the racist contingent of the voting body was like, finally, a voice?
I mean, truly, that would mean I don't know the Academy at all. I mean, if there was any headway in her direction, especially since the rising tide against this movie is only rising even higher. So
that's fair. I bet the Hollywood Foreign Press would have still voted for her, though. If the tweets had come out earlier.
Yeah, no, there would have been no Fernanda Torres suddenly.
Yeah, I mean.
I'm still here? No, she's not.
They don't like Islam in France either.
Again, it only feels like we're going to discover more tweets in the future, so I don't even know why we began commenting on it now.
We'll discover a whole manifesto from her probably when she blows up the Oscars.
Or we'll just read her book that'll come out in 6 months on some self-publishing website or something.
Yeah. All right. I think we've devoted enough time to our sister in arms. So, what are we talking about this week?
Well, luckily, we had a very rejuvenating award show on Sunday, the Grammys, and they kind of treated it like it was the last possible Grammys because everyone was there. There was no musician left undiscussed. Of course, John Legend was there. You know, they keep him in a little cage under the Grammys, and then just like the door opens and he runs up there. But everybody else was there too, and it was, as you know, Ira, a pretty exciting awards rollout. Actually, they did not make many bad decisions when it came to the actual awards. We'll get into that.
Mm-hmm. So we have that, and then we also have the fantastic Edward Norton here.
Just an intimidatingly talented and fabulous actor. I mean, somebody who is so talented, you can't pick a signature role for them. Like, every part of their career is packed with unbelievable moments. Like, we could talk just about American History X alone. Obviously, he is nominated now for playing Pete Seeger in A Complete Unknown. We'll talk about that. And that mysterious little man, Timothée Chalamet. Who is he? Does he still wear the Wonka hat?
You know he keep that thing on him.
He fucking Wonka hats.
I need to know if Timothy pulled up in the Sri Lanka to set.
The Sri Lanka, yes.
All right, when we're back, more Keep It. Keep It is brought to you by Beam. Let me tell you something. My sleep is poor, okay? You know I stay in the club and I stay in the streets, and that doesn't leave time for me to stay in my mattress.
I feel a little unsafe. This is a lot to admit at once, but okay.
Sleep is the foundation of whole body health. When we sleep, well, our minds and our bodies perform at their best. Good sleep also increases focus, boosts energy, and improves your mood. And that's why we're so excited to talk about Beam's Dream Powder, a science-backed, healthy, hot cocoa for sleep.
This bedtime essential is so decadent and available in delicious flavors like sea salt caramel, brownie batter, vanilla chai, and the Beam Dream Powder Original Flavor Cinnamon Cocoa. Each serving is only 15 calories and 0 grams of sugar. We can say this with confidence, better sleep has never tasted better. I've done this thing the past week, every single day, and I love sleeping on it. It's so calming. Dream is tested for high-quality efficacy and formulated to ease your body into rest, supporting all 4 stages of the sleep cycle to help you fall asleep faster and stay asleep longer. Other sleep aids can cause next-day grogginess, but Dream contains a powerful all-natural blend of reishi, magnesium, L-theanine, apigenin, and melatonin to help you fall asleep, stay asleep, and wake up refreshed.
Beam me down, Scotty, to sleep.
Is that a reference to a TV show? I simply wouldn't know.
Or a Nicki Minaj mixtape, Lewis.
Oh, God. I'm so not on the level. Or on the streets where you live.
Beam Dream is easy to add to your nighttime routine. Just mix Dream into hot water or milk, froth, and enjoy before bed. So, if you want to try Beam's best-selling Dream Powder, get up to 40% off for a limited time when you go to shopbeam.com/keepit and use code KEEPIT at checkout. That's shopbeam.com/keepit and use code KEEPIT for up to 40% off. Keep It is brought to you by Helix, Lewis's favorite mattress.
I have to tell you something. I am changing everything in my bedroom. I have decided to make everything jet black, and the only thing I am keeping is my Helix mattress, which is, as you know, the most decadent part of my life.
What sexy 90s thriller are you living in now?
It really is. I want someone to fall through a coffee table after a cocaine binge kind of vibe. Morticia glam, if you will.
Helix's lineup offers 20 unique mattresses, including the award-winning Luxe and ultra-premium Elite collections, Helix Plus, a mattress designed for big and tall sleepers, Helix Kids mattresses designed for growing bodies, and it's endorsed by child sleep experts. So, how will you know which Helix mattress works best for you and your body? You have to take the Helix Sleep Quiz and find your perfect mattress, but it only takes 2 minutes.
When I took the Helix Sleep quiz, first of all, I was having the time of my life. I love when anyone asks me about my sleep and how I sleep and if I do it well, because honestly, the answer is yes. It doesn't feel like a talent, but I do it well enough that I'm going to claim it as one. Not sure you can take my word for it, Helix has been awarded the #1 mattress picked by GQ and Wired magazine. It is even recommended by multiple leading chiropractors and doctors of sleep medicine as a go-to solution for improving your sleep. As I said, my sleep has never been better, and the only way I'm improving it is adding jet black to every segment of my life. So if I seem a little inky, just know that's a color scheme I picked out. Enjoy.
So go to helixsleep.com/keepit for 20% off site-wide, plus 2 free dream pillows with mattress purchase. That's helixsleep.com/keepit for 20% off site-wide, plus 2 free dream pillows with mattress purchase. helixsleep.com/keepit. The 67th Grammy Awards were held on Sunday, honoring the industry's biggest stars, LA's recovery efforts, and Trevor Noah doing his stand-up routine.
Just wandering between all those celebrities. It was given lounge act. I mean, he's determined to do the jokes while the celebrities are sitting right there. And I have to say, I'm going to call that brave and don't do it again.
Yeah, I will say that once again, Trevor Noah he's on top of people. And I would find that uncomfortable if I were in the audience. In fact, I will say that many of them were visibly uncomfortable. Name Chappell Roan. Did you notice at one point when he's doing his opening monologue, the camera is just focused on her. And even when he shifts, they make sure that they get her in like the lower part of the corner of the camera. And it's just like, can we leave the bitch alone?
They're like, sure, she's going to snarl or something.
And you could tell that she was like aware that the cameras are just on her. And she's just making sure that she nods and, she cheers, when she's supposed to. But that was stressful for me to watch.
No, I mean, it would be it's stressful if you're watching any stand-up and then you can see any of the audience having to react knowing they're on camera. Just like for me, I find it stressful, period, to laugh, let alone consistently at someone doing anything. So it would appear that I was having a stony reaction to anything going on when truly I'm just listening. So I kind of feel bad for people being literally on camera while they're supposed to be reacting like clowns at whatever he's saying. But by the way, like his hosting style is so strange for the Grammys. Like he's very frenetic, but then not saying much. So it just felt like it felt like he was constantly saying that was amazing at everything. It was very red carpet commentary from the 2000s.
Yeah.
Everybody is stunning.
Wow, that was amazing.
Yeah.
Give it up for Beyoncé, everyone. And I'm like, where are the jokes, baby?
Yeah.
I know you're funny. Maybe that girl from Selling Sunset really did write all his jokes.
That's right. I remember that claim. He had some joke about Colombia and Shakira, like she's the best export since, and the joke was something to do with crimes of some kind or cocaine. I don't know. It felt very first thought too.
Yeah.
I felt like whoever was writing the jokes for this was not a pop culture person. Maybe just a longtime Daily Show writer. I have no idea. But like the voice was out of sync with what I wanted to hear at that award show.
Also, his joke about immigrants voting. Obviously, it was a joke about, something that Trump would say, etc. But the joke didn't really land. And I think we all saw Doechii roll her eyes at that joke.
But honestly, it's a testament to the power of this ceremony that I thought it was such a success. And by the way, old school in a way where this was literally a 4-hour award show. Like people claim award shows are 4 hours long. Like this one gave you the full Gone with the Wind. We were there that long. But it was mostly fabulous. I mean, like the Grammys have the kind of hardest obligation because they have to put so much in there. They have to get all of the new artists and then lots of legacy collaborations. And then like they have to talk about the foundation. And then this year they had to talk about Los Angeles. So there's just so much they had to get in there. But the awards rollout itself, I thought was pretty rad. I don't know. I wasn't mad at almost anything, I don't think.
I will say what I'm mad at is Charlie XCX, they trotted her out. She has so many nominations, and she won shit that was off camera.
Yes. I happened to be in my car early on Sunday, and I listened to the pre-show rollout of awards, which just goes on and on and on. Obviously, there's tons and tons of categories. I heard somebody named Sierra Farrell, whose music I enjoy, win 4 Grammys in a row. It's like, wow, they just like, it's like Costco. You just like come away with awards and you're like, I'm barely here. But yes, Charlie XCX won for dance recording for Von Dutch and 2 others.
Yeah, and she won Best Dance Electronic Album for Brat, which, by the way, has been won by 4 women.
Really?
Yes. You know
Dance, is that a Madonna, Ray of Light?
Confessions on a Dance Floor.
Oh, Confessions on a Dance Floor, of course. Yes.
Yeah.
4
Gaga the Fame. And you know the other one. It's recent.
Dance. It's not Kylie Minogue.
No.
Not Carly
They
Rae
televised this one.
Dance album. And it's some, who is it?
Beyonce. Renaissance.
Oh, okay. Very good. Very good. She does win Grammys sometimes. I don't know if people are aware of that.
But it's so upsetting that she was just sort of sitting there doing nothing all award show, and then she performs at the end too, which I guess they were like, got to keep these watching.
That must have been why they did that, but it felt very weird that was the last performance while you were between like Song of the Year and Album of the Year. I felt like that should have gotten everybody into the Grammys. They should have led with that because it was very a party atmosphere, and by the time the Grammys were over, we wanted to leave the party.
Yeah. And obviously there were some complaints from people that the ceremony wasn't really, honoring LA and the firefighters. I think there was someone wrote an opinion piece that, they sort of used the victims as props in a way, and it still was sort of celebrating the Grammys in a way. Like it felt very weird to have all of this stuff at one point, starting out the show in a very sort of somber way, and then you're ending it with Charlie XCX doing Guess, and then, by the way, here are the firefighters. It was a bit of whiplash.
Yeah. But I mean, like, that is sort of the danger with the show. I mean, like, just tonally, it does have to be all over the place, as the music itself is all over the place. Like, these artists there's no Venn diagram encompassing all of these things. But, like, looking at Record and Song of the Year, can I just say, we were stupid not to guess that Kendrick Lamar would win this. I feel like that was, like, a definitive track that came out in the summer.
I wasn't shocked at all.
Yeah.
I mean, people with me were like, this song won? And I was like, yeah, Espresso was not the song of the year for everyone.
Espresso is a great song, a very re-listenable song, but I think it lacks, that extra thing, the thing that makes it great. Sabrina Carpenter won 2 Grammys. That is the appropriate amount. Start with your 2 Grammys. I hate when people come away from a Grammys with like 7 for some reason. It's like, why would you even have a career after this? Like, you're done. You accomplished everything.
I win 7 Grammys and I'm like, well, going to Europe.
Yeah, no, I would take an umbrella and just walk across the ocean, like in being there.
Well, the other thing is I knew that Kendrick Lamar was going to be walking away with an award because he was just one of the biggest things of this year. The Kendrick and Drake feud this past year was one of the biggest stories of pop culture, period.
Correct. Now, Best New Artist, Chappell Roan did win this. Chappell Roan didn't walk away with that much last night, which I think is a little bit surprising. But I just want to say, I have a friend in San Francisco named Ali who got in my face once and said Sabrina Carpenter is going to win Best New Artist. And I said, this is clearly a Chappell Roan win. They love to give it to the upcoming singer-songwriter person who has their own point of view, who isn't contrived, who doesn't feel like the industry invented her. No offense to Sabrina Carpenter. I'm obsessed with that album. But I just want to say that he has been really motherfucking silent. I've not heard a fucking peep from him after I read him to filth. So,
okay, Jafar, coming for an Ali on the podcast. Shots are fired at your friends.
Yes, right. Abu leaps on my shoulder. Yes.
No, Chappell Roan seems like the perfect person to win this, and I loved her speech with her book.
And because let me tell you something, she prefers to be off book, if you know her commentary. And this time, she was like, let me write a little acrostic poem to put it all together. Yes, yeah. And she talked about how artists are often, new artists in the industry get signed, and then they still don't have things like health insurance, and record companies sort of take advantage of their constant toiling without rewarding them in any, without giving them health insurance. And so that was a pretty awesome perspective. And she also looked dead to camera while she did it too. Like, this is really serious. I saw a tweet being like, this is why it's important not to have every celebrity be a nepo baby, because they're just not going to get up on stage and talk about health insurance.
Right. And we need health insurance in the music industry, because if everybody's doing backflips like Benson Boone, some people are going to get hurt.
Also, he's doing backflips, excuse me, in that jumpsuit where I could see, I'm sorry, the veins in his balls. I mean, like, this man is going to be, something's going to rip. It's going to be a Lenny Kravitz situation, if you remember that.
And I'd love to see it. He apologized for adjusting his junk on stage, and I said, you could have done it again.
Encore, you screamed.
I love Benson Boone so much on Instagram. I would love for an album with more songs that I want to listen to.
Somebody unfortunately associated his songs with Imagine Dragons, and it just feels like Imagine Dragons as a genre is what this fits into, and it sort of defangs it as having any kind of raw male sexual power or whatever we're kind of associating with him at the moment. So I look forward to his future music.
I will say, though, going back to Chappell, it was shocking that we had a lack of just sort of like political commentary or anyone with any other sort of bite in their speeches besides her.
Yeah, no, I do feel like the speeches were pretty quick. Maybe like there's a timer that was like intimidating people off stage or whatever, because even Beyonce, not that she's like a verbose person, I felt like she spoke for 2 seconds and then got the hell out of there. But that's another question I have. So Beyonce first won Best Country Album, which is, you know, is like a triumph and fabulous or whatever.
Yeah. Taylor got to give it to her.
Taylor Swift got to give it to her. I believe in the sanctity of all award shows. I don't think they're pulling the wool over any of our eyes or whatever. Bitch, you showed her the envelope. I absolutely know she was only going to be there if she went. You think she's going to be there and be like Casey Musgraves? Absolutely not.
I mean, it's so funny watching the award shows and just trying to figure out what's going on with who knew and like why are these people here? Because yeah, the Taylor Swift handing it over to Beyonce moment is just too perfect. But then again, you remember when the Oscars tried to engineer a moment by keeping Best Actor to last?
Oh, for Chadwick Boseman, and
Yes.
then I have never seen an award show end like that. This is, I believe, the one. I believe this is the Oscars we were talking about before, the Nomadland one.
Yeah.
Where yes, they were supposed to. The idea was that Chadwick Boseman, the late Chadwick Boseman, would win for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, and he didn't. And Anthony Hopkins won for The Father, and he was not there. And they just said, we accept this award on his behalf. And then the Oscars were over. That is truly and I believe, wasn't Steven Soderbergh the director of that Oscars too? The flop of his career.
You know who was happy with that win, though? Karla Sofía
Gascón. She cheered. She said, I love the Oscars.
Otherwise, she would have written a Wakanda Korean festival.
Best pop duo group performance, Die with a Smile. Guys, are we sure? I know it's a huge hit, and I still kind of couldn't identify that melody if you gave me like $10,000. I just don't think it's like the peak of either of their careers. I'm talking about Bruno Mars and Lady Gaga.
Well, you mean if the party was over, then I want to be next. I love that song. I'm sorry.
love it? Yeah.
It's platinum in my house.
Okay, well, it's platinum in general, so for once, your delusions are running into reality.
This is one of the weirdest songs to me, though, only because you keep having to remind people that it was like one of the biggest songs of last year. Like the biggest song.
No, people right now are talking about in the middle of the Grammys, Lady Gaga debuted a new music video, Abracadabra. And
Thank fucking God.
And the tone around this conversation is, I hope this one charts. I hope this one gets her back on the chart. It's like, girl, she was #1 last week with Die With a Smile.
Let's do a quick diversion, though, into Abracadabra, which debuted in the middle of the Grammys, sponsored by MasterCard. I believe they just paid for the ad space. But at first, I thought it was just going to be a commercial. And then the video kept going on. And then I was entranced and screaming.
Well, at the beginning of the video, you see it says Lady Gaga Abracadabra in specialized spooky font. And it looks like it's going to be a preview of a coming album or song or whatever. And then it just kept going. And everybody, it's like everybody in the room I was watching in realized, oh, this is new and yet throwback Lady Gaga, and yet also going very, very hard. It's sort of like if Bad Romance was one kind of monster stomp, and then Judas sped it up. This is sort of the taking it to 11. Like it went even harder with the same kind of, high fashion, Suspiria costuming that we're familiar with from her.
It was a Monster Mash.
Yes, right here in February. As my friend Chris once tweeted, people think the Monster Mash is at Halloween. They never specify a specific date. It could be Easter.
I love this song.
Me too. I'm a big fan. Also, I love how it just has, like Bad Romance, different sections that are rawer and crazier, and then it goes back to like a really good melody. So it just has all the ingredients of classic Lady Gaga. Again, it's one of those things like her last single where I kind of knew she could do this, but I'm happy we're getting this kind of retread. Also,
that lady with the cane, I'm loving this narrative because this video set before Disease?
Oh, maybe. Oh, you think they're connected?
Well, when you watch the Disease video, which of course I did right after, you see the woman in black who is stalking Lady Gaga through the video, right? And she has the cane, but she has this like black sort of like leather thing. You can't really see her face. But when you look close at her, like in the car, you can see bits of red coming out from underneath her black. And so I'm thinking, has that woman in red who's been stalking her in the Abracadabra video, does she turn into that?
God, it is so exhausting what must go into the planning of like an era. Like,
yeah.
I'm picturing a whiteboard with note cards on it, like woman in black will be woman in red at this point, you know, just like red strings everywhere connecting everything.
When Madonna had a new era, she just put her pussy in a book.
Right. She's like, and I'm Asian this time.
That's it.
Yeah.
She went and got the chopsticks.
Yeah, right. No, she's like, kimono and patent leather? Who cares? I'll do it. No, it really is a fabulous video. And also, you get some really hard dancing from Lady Gaga, and I always forget that that's a serious part of what she does. She is a choreography queen. I think maybe we're always kind of comparing her to Beyonce or other people of that era who are, I don't know, even Janet or Madonna, people from that time who dancing is their primary thing. But really, she is an athletic dancer, and what goes on here is very memorable and just shocking and jarring, and even her facial expressions are like classically hilarious Gaga. So anytime she like rummages into funny again, I'm so happy, because I always felt like that instinct was getting killed in her every single new decision she made in the 2010s.
Yeah. Now, Louis, I thought of you immediately when she during the ceremony?
Hold on. She spoke up for trans people. Did that remind you of me? Activist Louis Virtel?
No, her performance with Bruno Mars.
Wait, what did she do?
She sang the Mamas and the Papas.
Oh, yes. Oh, which, as you know, I was listening to them that day, like any rational human being. We still don't have a Mama Cass biopic. A.D. Bryant, pick up the phone. Anyway.
Bruno Mars, Mama Cass. I said, this is perfect Louis and Ira bait.
Yes, totally. Also, they sounded magnificent. I mean, the Mamas and the Papas are, like ABBA or Carpenters, defined by the miraculous quality of their harmonies, and they really picked it. Like Bruno Mars, we think of as a talented vocalist on any pop track, but he really was like belting it and helping us lose the memory of John Phillips, which, if you've read Mackenzie Phillips's book, is a good thing.
I missed the show so weird.
Oh, she was amazing on that show. She's also a big board game fan, Mackenzie Phillips. I ran into her at a game night once. That woman is obsessed with board games.
I thought that her getup was like pitch perfect. I love the beanie. I love, the Woodstock-ish outfit. And I'm kind of like on board for whatever they're cooking up. I don't like, maybe it's just the one-off for the song, but I feel like I'm involved if she and Bruno want to keep doing shit.
Well, I mean, it does feel like she's looking for somebody to replace what Tony Bennett was to her, which is, there is an element of, it's the crooner thing, it's the old school thing, but also really sing with me. So I feel like he does check all of those boxes, since he's one of these people that will just casually bounce into 100 genres and nobody will think twice about it. It won't seem contrived to people.
And he loves doing that shit anyway. I mean, Silk Sonic.
Right.
I still miss them. And also, it must be said, I fucking love his song with Sexy Red, Fat, Juicy, and Wet.
Also, isn't he the one who tweeted, like, I don't know what the occasion was, but he said something like, he had like 1 billion streams of something, or I don't know what, but he responded, "Thank you. Maybe I'll be out of debt soon." So funny.
Cocaine costs a lot of money.
Yeah, right. And being styled like Lena Horne costs a lot of money. Okay, that's the first half of our Grammys conversation. We will be right back in a second with the second half. We'll see who won Album of the Year. It's a new artist to me, never heard of her.
Keep It is brought to you by Built. If you pay rent and you haven't heard of Built, you're about to thank me. You probably already know of ways to earn points on groceries, travel, and practically everything else we buy. But with Built, you can earn points on rent, one of our biggest monthly expenses.
You don't even have to check with your landlord to start earning points that you can use towards flights, hotel stays, fitness classes, and even your next rent payment. Let me break it down for you. There's no cost to join Built, and as a member, you'll earn valuable points on rent and on your everyday spending. Built points can be transferred to your favorite hotels and airlines, and even the ones you haven't heard of. There are over 500 airlines and 700,000 hotels and properties around the world you can redeem your Built points toward. Points can also be redeemed towards a future rent payment and unique experiences that only Built members can access. So if you're not earning points on rent, my question is, why not?
I love that you don't have to check in with your landlord because mine never responds to my texts anyway.
Oh, how very Norman Lear sitcom. It's giving Schneider from One Day at a Time.
I've always wanted a Mr. Roper, just showing up unannounced, interfering with my life.
Bug-eyed and full of one-liners.
Start earning points on rent you're already paying by going to joinbuilt.com/keepit. That's joinbilt.com/keepit. Make sure to use our URL so they know that we sent you. Joinbuilt.com/keepit to start earning points on your rent payments today.
Keep It is brought to you by Factor. Now, talk about mainstays in my life. Guys, I'm eating Factor every day. They are protein-packed meals, and as you know, I'm one of the proteiniest people you'll ever meet. Ready to optimize your nutrition this year? Factor has chef-made gourmet meals that make eating well easy. The dishes are dietitian-approved and ready to eat in 2 minutes. Factor arrives fresh and fully prepared, perfect for any active, busy lifestyle. I'm the most active and the most busy. Everyone knows that about me. I'm Busy Phillips.
I don't know how she does it.
She has a daughter named Cricket. With 40 options across 8 dietary preferences on the menu each week, it's easy to pick meals tailored to your goals. Choose from preferences like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, or Keto. If you're a snacker, Factor also offers smoothies, breakfasts, grab-and-go bites, and more add-ons.
I actually use Factor too, and that's because I'm a New Yorker, and as you know, we're always on the go.
Ugh, even you. I'm a big fan of the honey mustard chicken meal. I often get 7, 8 of them a week. I get the full 18 meal count. My fridge is full of them. It looks like I'm hoarding them for some sort of apocalyptic moment.
And you thought eating Factor was only for the number munchers.
Oh my God. Thank you for taking me back. I believe I was bad at that game. Eat smart with Factor. Get started at factormeals.com/keepit50off and use code KEEPIT50off to get 50% off your first box plus free shipping. That's code KEEPIT50OFF at factormeals.com/keepit50off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box.
And we're back with our Grammys discussion. I want to shout out, by the way, this was not a award that aired, but one of the espresso wins was the Mark Ronson FNZ Working Late remix, and I fucking love that song.
That song takes off. Also, it's one of those, espresso is a song that doesn't need to be remixed, right? Every time it comes on, it's quote unquote a vibe, and you're just in it. This is a fabulous and a departure from that song that still has the kernel of what makes that song great in it.
Yeah, so shout out to Mark Ronson. Always doing it.
What did we think of Doechie's performance? Because, by the way, I'm still reeling from her guest judging stint on RuPaul's Drag Race, where I think she is one of the best guest judges of all time.
Yeah, and the performance of Alter Ego was fantastic.
Oh,
although,
certainly.
That badonkadonk thing is a scam. I'm just going to say it.
Yeah, oh, you think so? Oh, you mean on RuPaul's Drag Race?
On RuPaul's Drag Race, I think it was a scam.
Oh, but there's standards and practices, though. You think you can get away with that? You think it's... Well,
you
it's
think
like quiz show
standards.
Well, it's like quiz show. They can do it if everybody signs on and says, okay, it can be rigged in this person's favor or whatever, you know.
That's fair. I fucking love Doechii and her performance of Catfish and Denial is a River. First of all, those songs are at the top of my on repeat playlist on Spotify. I love that album. And she won Best Rap Album, and she is only the third woman to do so, by the way. You know, the other two were Krayshawn and Madonna.
It was actually Lauryn Hill and Cardi B, and which is crazy because it's like you're telling me Missy Elliott never won that, though I guess all her albums really came out in the heat of like Eminem, Dr. Dre, those people too, so there's probably a lot of competition, but Under Construction, come on, that should be in that category.
Yeah, it's kind of disgraceful, but I loved Cardi B getting to present the award to Doechii. Imagine she had to present it to Eminem.
Tough, right? By the way, I didn't realize his new thing is called The Death of Slim Shady or something. Can we not? I just don't want to hear about it.
I thought you wanted Slim Shady dead.
Yes, but like on someone else's time.
But back to Doechii, she is just phenomenal. I mean, I'm obsessed with Doechii. I've been obsessed with Doechii for a good while, but ever since I've seen her perform at Coachella, and then I saw her perform at the Paper Magazine party last year, she's just so energetic on stage and fun in the way that Janelle Monáe sort of used to really be for me. I still enjoy Janelle Monáe, but I remember when Janelle Monáe first started out, you know, sort of as Prince's protege, in the sense of, like, remember when she performed at the Forum.
Yes, right.
Opening for him. I just love watching Doechii on stage, and I love that people got to see that live.
Well, also, let's talk about Janelle Monáe, who performed the Quincy Jones tribute, which had two parts that were especially amazing to me. First of all, you had Cynthia Erivo doing Fly Me to the Moon, which you forget that she is this, like, or I guess you don't forget, but sharpshooter vocalist. You know, it's
she's
not
been
just about
lying all over the place, though.
Yeah.
So
right, but like we're aware that she has belting capabilities, but like this kind of Frank Sinatra quality of hers that she displayed was very novel to me, and she just like was extremely captivating right away. Nobody has had a better year than Cynthia Erivo. Like the fact that she is now on her third Oscar nomination for this unbelievably popular movie. I feel like her popularity, just as a name, has risen hyperbolically over the past few months. I was watching an episode of Pop Culture Jeopardy, which was taped during the summer, and somebody buzzed in on a clue where she was the response, and they said Cynthia Erivo, like that. Like they didn't know how to say her name. That would never happen now.
Yeah, she's really become like the moment this year. I think that Wicked is just such the kind of film that we've been missing. By the way, I'm always going to commend Wicked, to be honest, because I feel like we've been missing star-making turns in Hollywood for a minute, and this is something that took a really well-regarded actress. She'd already been an Oscar nominee, but she wasn't sort of a household name, and Wicked has turned her into that.
Totally. No, it's like a completely different level of stardom. But then another part of the Quincy Jones tribute, you had Janelle Monáe doing Don't Stop Till You Get Enough. Now, this is one of those things that could have been really awkward because, of course, something about her dancing does call to mind Michael Jackson, like the jaggedness of the moves, like the black and white uniform. But I thought she really, while performing the song, kept all of the moves her own thing while only lightly referencing Michael Jackson. And she did literally do the moonwalk. So I'm not saying she didn't go there, but she did. And I thought she kept it cool. It didn't feel awkward to me, even though there's no getting around a Quincy Jones tribute that doesn't have Michael Jackson in it.
The hair threw me off, though. I will say that.
Yeah, but yes, very unfamiliar look for her. Did you see her performing afterwards where she did a moment of Nelly's Hot in Here, and then she
said, "Fuck you, Nelly."
Yes,
for performing at Trump's inauguration.
She was getting hot in here, but in a different way. Yes.
Yeah. Whew. Hot.
She had no dilemma. She said, "I'm just going to fight Nelly."
She was flapping those wings all over the place.
Yes. She got down and shook her tail feather in his face. Yes.
I felt a lot of sweat in my suit after that. That's the end of our Nelly puns.
You're going to say, I don't think I have any other references there.
I mean, I could tilt my head back and cackle at a few more, but...
Right. And I'll laugh over and over again if we keep going this route.
Should we just get to the biggest award of the
Yes.
evening.
Which,
Yeah.
by the way, you know what? Over the years, we've been wanting the Beyonce Album of the Year win. She's like our definitive album artist. Beyonce is never going to come out with something and not attach to it a fully realized album. This is just a part and parcel of who she is as an artist. I feel like people are kind of like, oh, this is a Al Pacino incentive a woman win. You know, like they wanted to give it to her for something. This isn't her best album. Whatever. This is a very cool album.
Yeah.
I think nothing about this is an underqualified win. And, you know, it has lots of flavors, goes all over the place. And it has the thing the Grammys love, which I'm always railing about, which is it's the new thing that has a lot of the old thing in it. You know, you're not leaving behind any old Grammy voters. You know, they're like, oh, she's going to perform Blackbird. Oh, she did Jolene. Oh, but then, oh, you know, there's that slap funk of Shaka Khan is in Desert Eagle, for example. But then the songs that are all new are completely novel, and you wouldn't get them from any other artist. I'm sorry, Bodyguard is coming from nobody but Beyonce.
I really love this win, if only because I think this album is exactly what you want from a legacy artist like Beyonce. You know, she has given us Renaissance, which is my favorite of hers. You know, it's an opus, you know, but she has B-Day, she has Lemonade, she has Self-Titled, she has so many different big albums. And I think the fact that she was like, I want to like play around in country and Americana and folk and whatever and do that for Cowboy Carter. More artists should be doing that, to be honest. And I love that she just keeps going on about how genres are limiting to people, you know, and she said it again in her speech, because I don't want everyone trying to win awards by just doing what they do best each time, you know? Make something weird and make something fun. And I enjoy the fuck out of Cowboy Carter. And I think that is exactly the kind of album that from an artist that you love from the past, right? Like a Donna Summer or like a Diana Ross or whatever. You are at the record store, you're flipping through vinyls, you're familiar with the big singles, you're familiar with, you know, the most popular albums. You find Cowboy Carter amongst like the vinyls there, and you go home and listen to it, and you're like, man, this is a really fucking cool album.
Right, and unexpected.
Yeah.
You know, it's like Bob Dylan with like Nashville Skyline or something. Like people do these departure, or like whatever. Paul Simon with Graceland or whatever, which became like his definitive album. You know, it's cool to recognize that she made this artistic leap. And by the way, it was like a critical success too. I think it has like a 91 on Metacritic or something.
You know what it is? It is not her sense of a woman, because the hoo-ahs in that movie. No, I would say this is her Denzel Washington in Training Day.
Yes, right. Yes, unexpected and coming at a point when we're very familiar with her as an artist.
And
yes.
probably he should have won for Malcolm X, but he didn't. And so he is winning for this. But also, it's a great fucking performance. And if you revisit Training Day, he deserved that Oscar.
Precisely. Okay, that's extremely fair. I also like her winning this year, though, because it was a competitive album year. It could have been 5 different ones. So it's not just like we're giving it to Beyonce because we're out of ideas at the moment. There were lots of things that could have contended. I maintain that Brat, which is probably the best known album title of the year and, you know, color scheme, I just can't picture the old Grammy voters sitting down with this album and vibing with it. I say that appreciatively of this because the album is for 31-year-olds who are so annoying. And you guys are all my friends, and I love you and need you. But I think in terms of how much library of music Beyonce brought to Cowboy Carter, it was likelier to go her direction.
Yeah, I agree.
You know? And Short and Sweet, of course, I listened to a million times. And also, who is Jacob Collier? And why does he get into Album of the Year?
There's always someone.
Yeah, just like Andre 3000 with his, like, what is it, like a flute medley or something?
Yeah, you know, he's a flautist.
I thought Lizzo was the only legal flautist we had, and now there's 2, and I'm confused. I don't think Jethro Tull performs anymore.
That's actually what the lawsuit was about.
There can only be one flautist.
I mean, yeah, to wrap up, like, I loved Sabrina Carpenter's performance as well. The Goldie Hawn reference to her 1978 TV special was so funny. She
descends these stairs, and it looks like she's going to go all the way down, you know, classic sort of Busby Berkeley entrance. And then there's a schism between a couple of the stairs, and she just descends into the floor. It's very funny. Yeah. Very Miss Piggy.
Yeah, and I will say that there's video of Beyonce hugging Sabrina after she wins, and Sabrina congratulates her, and Beyonce is like, I love you, and she calls her a breath of fresh air.
I can't get over that gif of Beyonce winning Best Country Album, though. She's sitting. She's sitting like there could be no other comparison. Genghis Khan. She's sitting with her arms out, as if to say, "I run the Grammys," and they're all,
Well, they are part of the world. Full of them.
Yes, right.
And
right.
Who run?
Girls. See. Beyonce's vibe, I have never seen her like this ever. She was like befuddled by everything. It kind of felt like she was sat down in her seat like halfway through the ceremony, as of course, but it felt like something else was maybe on her mind. And then when the awards happened to her, she kind of like sprang into form and realized this was very emotional and had to kind of change where her brain space was at entirely. And then by the time she won Album of the Year, she was just like, it was so surreal for her, she could barely comment on it. She had to like leave the stage immediately.
Yeah, I think people were commenting that it was like fake shock, but I really think that her mind was elsewhere, as you said. But then also, I don't think she would have been shocked for the Grammys to play in her face again.
That's all they do.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Yeah. So, when people show you who they are, believe them. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Oprah.
Maya Angelou, but yes.
Also, I want to give a special shout out to the fire chief who presented the award to Beyonce at the end. At first, I was a little bad that they were trotting out the firefighters at the end because we could have mentioned something about, the incarcerated people who also helped stop the fires in Los Angeles. But I thought it was a nice way to sort of tribute the firefighters. And the woman who read the award that Beyonce won, I knew that Beyonce had won the minute she opened the envelope, because that woman, I could tell she was Beehive.
Yo, she reacted
opened
like
that
a stan.
in her face. She was like, she stumbled. Someone was like, oh, I wish, she hadn't stumbled over her words. I said, no, bitch. She stumbled over her words because she was like, oh my God, Beyonce. And Beyonce is about to come on stage and I am about to give her a hug.
Yes, right. No, she knew the gravity of the moment, which is not a guarantee when you're, if these could be non-music fans, I don't know. But you could tell her reading it, it was an exciting moment for her and a stumble that was very endearing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I love that moment. Just a fun ceremony, to be honest.
I enjoyed it top to bottom. I ate way too much, which when I enjoy an award show, I'm like Templeton and Charlotte's Web. I'm pulling all the foods.